First story, the last shift at Marlowe Gas. They always told me the graveyard shift at Marlowe Gas was cursed. I laughed it off. I shouldn't have. My name's Travis Malone. I'm 29. Grew up in Ashford, a small town in Missouri you've probably never heard of. I started working at Marlowe Gas about 6 months ago, mostly because I needed money fast, and they weren't picky about background checks. The gas station sits right off Highway 53. The lights always flicker, like they're scared of the dark. It's open 24 hours, though I swear no one sane pulls in after midnight. The store has this constant smell of burned plastic and bleach, like something's always being covered up. My shift was from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The weirdness started the night of October 13th. I remember because the calendar behind the counter hadn't been flipped for days, but that night, it was suddenly correct. It had a red circle drawn around the date that I hadn't put there. At around 1 a.m., a black pickup pulled in. Windows tinted, engine running loud. The guy who stepped out wore a long coat even though it was warm, and he never looked at me directly. He just pointed at pump 4 and said, "Don't come outside." Then he smiled. No lips, just teeth. Like too many of them. I watched him through the window. He wasn't pumping gas. He was just standing there, whispering into the pump nozzle like it was a phone. I locked the door. When I turned back around, he was gone. The truck was still there, engine still rumbling, but he had vanished. I stepped outside anyway. I know, but I had to see. Pump 4's screen flashed symbols I didn't recognize. They looked like scratches, jagged marks that seemed to shift when I blinked. I reached out to touch the screen. I woke up behind the counter. My shift was over. My head hurt like I'd been punched. The cameras didn't record anything from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m., just static. I should have quit, but I came back. The next few nights, people started coming in asking for things that didn't make sense. "Do you still sell the bone oil?" one woman asked. "Has the mirror tunnel reopened?" a man whispered. Someone left a VHS tape on the counter. No label. I don't even have a VCR. When I turned around to ask the guy about it, he was gone. No sound of the bell, just gone. I watched the tape that night. I shouldn't have. It showed the inside of the gas station, but it was darker, older. There were things moving between the aisles, too tall for the ceiling, bending as they walked. One of them turned toward the camera. Its face was mine, but its eyes were black pits that didn't blink, and it smiled. I hit eject, but the tape kept playing. The next morning, I had bruises on my ribs, like fingers. Last night was the final straw. At 3 a.m., all pumps began working at once. Fuel poured out onto the pavement, the smell overwhelming. I tried to hit the shutoff, but the panel was melted. A voice came over the intercom. I haven't touched the intercom in weeks. "Travis," it whispered, "let us in." I ran to the bathroom and locked myself inside. The lights went out. My phone wouldn't turn on. Then, scratching. On the mirror. Not the door. The mirror. Words began to form. "You? Work? For US?" I closed my eyes. When I opened them, the lights were back. It was 6:05 a.m. My manager was pounding on the front door, but the mirror still had the message. I tried to quit this morning. My manager looked confused. "You already did," he said. "Last week?" He showed me the paperwork with my signature. I don't remember signing anything, and when I got home, my apartment was empty, like I never lived there. I checked my wallet. My ID was gone. Replaced with a card that read, "Employee number 49, location below." I don't know what's real anymore, but I hear the pumps every night in my dreams, calling me back. And I know I'll go, because I already have. Second story, midnight, fuel. I never thought a simple stop at a gas station would change my life forever. It was just past midnight when I pulled into that rundown station on the edge of Milltown, a sleepy little place tucked away in Ohio. I was exhausted from the long drive, the kind of tired that sinks into your bones. The flickering neon sign buzzed erratically above the pumps, casting long shadows on the cracked pavement. I stepped out and went inside to pay. The clerk, a pale man with dark circles under his eyes, barely looked up. His voice was low, almost a whisper. "You shouldn't be here this late," he said. I laughed it off, thinking he was just tired like me. Back outside, as I filled my tank, I noticed a figure standing by the edge of the lot, a man, or maybe something else. His face was hidden in the shadows, but I felt his gaze burn through me. I tried to ignore it, but the feeling gnawed at me. Suddenly, the lights in the station flickered violently, then went out. The whole place was swallowed by darkness, except for the weak glow of the street lamp at the entrance. My heart hammered as I fumbled for my phone to use as a flashlight. The figure started moving toward me, but his steps were unnaturally slow, almost gliding over the ground. I called out, but no answer came, only a cold silence. Then, from the shadows, a guttural whisper echoed, "You shouldn't have stopped here." Panic took over. I jumped into my car, locked the doors, and tried to start the engine. It stalled, over and over. The figure was at my window now, tapping on the glass with long, thin fingers. His eyes reflected a sickly yellow light, like something not meant to be seen by the living. I screamed, pounding the horn until my hands bled. The headlights finally flickered on, and the figure vanished. The engine roared to life. I didn't stop driving until I was miles away, heart racing, hands shaking. Days later, I learned that same gas station had been closed for years after a series of strange disappearances. The clerk? He was never found. And sometimes, late at night, passing drivers swear they see a flickering neon sign buzzing above an empty lot, and a shadowy figure standing just beyond the light. I still don't know what I saw that night, but one thing's for sure, some places are better left alone, and some stops are never just a stop. Third story, the last fill at Red Gas. I was driving through Arizona. Highway stretched flat and empty, just dirt, dusk, and heat rising off the asphalt. My name's Brian Clay. I'm from Bakersfield, California, and I haul equipment for a construction firm. That night, I had been driving for nearly 12 hours straight. I needed fuel. I needed a bathroom. I needed sleep. It was almost midnight when I saw the sign. Red Hill Gas, next exit. I almost missed it. The lights were dim, flickering like a dying campfire. The station looked abandoned from a distance. One of those desolate pit stops that died when the new freeways came through. But I didn't have a choice. My tank was on E. As I pulled in, my headlights caught a glimpse of the faded canopy. Only one pump, one busted vending machine outside, a cracked Coca-Cola sign hanging lopsided. I didn't see another car, no clerk through the dusty window. But the lights were on. I stepped out, the hot air hitting me like a wall. It smelled like scorched rubber and something else, something metallic. The pump was old school, manual numbers, no card reader. I sighed, stepped inside the store, and froze. There was a man standing behind the counter, but his eyes weren't right. He didn't blink, didn't move. His skin looked tight, like it was stretched over the wrong skeleton. He was smiling, but nothing about it felt human. "Evenin'," he said. His voice came out delayed, like an echo or a recording slightly out of sync. I almost turned and ran. "Need pump 4, I muttered. "No cash," he replied. "Only trade." "What?" He slowly pointed to a board on the wall. Handwritten items scribbled in red marker. "1 finger, a lock of hair, tooth, must be your own, a piece of memory," I laughed, nervously. "Good one." He didn't laugh back. "I just need gas," I said. "You pay, one way or another." My mouth dried out. I looked around. No security cameras, no other exits, only the whine of the old fridge humming in the corner. I backed out, grabbed the nozzle, and prayed it worked without payment. It did. Gas started flowing. That's when I heard something moving in the back of the store. Not footsteps. Dragging. Something heavy scraping against tile. I looked up, and the lights inside the store flickered violently. The man behind the counter was gone. I dropped the nozzle. Gas spilled onto my boots. I jumped in the truck, heart pounding. But the engine didn't start. Instead, the radio came on, white noise, then a voice. "You took, now it takes." My headlights dimmed, the store door creaked open, and something, not the man, crawled out. Its limbs were wrong, bent backward, skin wet and gray like it had never seen sunlight. Its eyes were black holes. It dragged itself toward my truck, body contorting like it was trying to remember how to walk. I locked the doors, slammed the starter again, nothing. Then the passenger door opened, though I never unlocked it. I turned, nothing there. But the smell hit me. Rot, burned copper, my hands trembled. Then, a whisper in my ear. "Memory," I screamed. Everything flashed white. Then, nothing. I woke up parked on the side of the freeway, morning sun in my eyes, no gas station behind me, no receipt, no trace, except one thing. My wallet was gone, replaced by a Polaroid. A picture of me, standing behind the counter at Red Hill Gas, smiling, eyes wrong. I wait every night for someone to pull in, for their turn to trade. Fourth story, stop before Ashfield. I was supposed to be in Ashfield by midnight. The plan was simple: drive through West Virginia, stop for gas, grab a coffee, and keep moving. I'd done this drive twice before, but this time I took a different route. Google Maps suggested a shortcut through a small county road just past Claremont. Around 10 o'clock, my tank hit a quarter full. Rain had started, light at first, then harder. I was in the middle of nowhere. That's when I saw a glowing neon sign ahead. Gas, food, barely flickering through the downpour. The place was old, rusted signs, cracked pavement, one dim overhead light above the pumps, buzzing like it was alive. I pulled in. There was no one outside, not even a car. The glass door into the shop was grimy, smeared with fingerprints, and something that looked darker. Inside, a bell rang as I pushed open the door. "Evenin'," said the man behind the counter. Tall, thin, pale. His eyes didn't match. One blue, one white, cloudy like dead fish. "Hey, just need a fill-up and maybe a coffee," I said. He didn't reply, just nodded slowly and gestured behind him to the coffee pot. I walked over. It smelled wrong, like burnt rubber and wet fur. Still, I poured a cup. I don't know why I drank it. Maybe I didn't want to seem rude. I took a few sips and stepped back out to the pump. My hands started trembling. The pump handle wouldn't budge. I turned to go back inside and stopped. The shop was gone. I swear to you, the building was just gone. Nothing but a soaked patch of gravel. My car was still there. The pump. But the station itself vanished. I started yelling, "Hello? What the hell is this?" Rain hit harder. Thunder rolled. I turned toward the woods lining the road, and something stood there, watching. It looked human. At first, long limbs, too long, skin gray, sagging, no clothes. No eyes, just dark holes where they should have been. It raised one arm and pointed behind me. I turned. My car door was wide open. I ran. I jumped in, locked the doors, fumbled with the keys. Engine wouldn't start. The radio switched on by itself. "Ashfield is not your destination," I screamed, pounded the dash. Then everything went black. When I woke up, it was daylight. I was parked at a rest area near Ashfield. A ranger knocked on my window, asking if I was okay. "Yeah, I think I got lost last night," I mumbled. He frowned. "There's no gas station for miles. Closest one's been closed since 1993. Burned down. Some say it still shows up now and then, like it wants something. Someone." I didn't answer. I just nodded. I never took that road again. But sometimes, when I drive late at night, I catch a glimpse of a flickering neon sign in my rearview mirror. Gas, food, restrooms. And my car starts to slow down, all on its own. Fifth story station where no one sleeps. I always took the night shift. Out on Route 49, just past the woods, there was an old gas station where I worked. Benson's Fuel Stop. One of those rundown places with flickering lights and old soda machines that rarely worked. Folks avoided it at night, said it had a bad feel. But I didn't mind. Quiet suited me. Until that one night. It was mid-October. Windy. Leaves whipping across the asphalt like they were trying to escape something. I had my coffee, my flashlight, and a whole playlist of podcasts to get through the hours. At exactly 2:15, the bell rang. You know, the one above the door. The bell that only rings when someone enters. But I was alone. I stood up, looked around the empty store. Nothing. Even the security cam on the monitor showed static. Then I heard breathing. Not mine. Heavy, slow, just behind the snack aisle. "Hello," I called out. No answer. But the breathing kept going. Deep, wet. I grabbed the flashlight, heart thudding against my ribs, and slowly walked to the back. The light flickered once, then steadied. Chips, candy, dusty shelves, no one. Then the breathing stopped. I exhaled, tried to laugh it off, told myself it was the vents. Then came the whisper. "You shouldn't be here." It came from the walk-in freezer. My legs moved before my brain caught up. I sprinted to the front, slammed the door shut, and locked it. Stood there panting, watching through the glass. Nothing moved. Then the pumps turned on. All of them. Every single one started pouring gas onto the concrete like invisible hands had lifted the nozzles. It splashed across the lot, soaking everything. My phone rang. Unknown number. I picked up. Static. Then a voice. "You let them in." I dropped the phone. The lights went out. Pitch black. I used my flashlight, shaking like mad. The beam hit the glass door. There were handprints, not on the outside, on the inside. I turned around. The freezer door was wide open, and inside, something moved. I should have run. I didn't. A shape emerged. Pale skin, no eyes. Long fingers twitching like they were tasting the air. It stepped into the store. No sound, no footsteps, just silence, and then more came. From the aisles, from the floor, from the goddamn ceiling. They had no faces, just gaping holes where their mouths should be. And they moved like they'd always known the place, like they'd been waiting. I screamed. No one heard. They didn't touch me, not yet. They circled, whispered things I'll never forget. Stay, join us. Sleep never comes. And then the floor opened, literally cracked beneath me like glass, and there was fire, endless red fire, and something below, breathing louder than all the others. It called me by name. Ben. I passed out. When I woke up, it was morning, sunlight, birds. The gas station looked untouched. No gas on the ground, no handprints, freezer closed. But my phone was melted, and when I checked the security footage, nothing. Except at exactly 2:15 a.m., every screen went black. I quit that day, moved out of Clarksville, never looked back, but I still hear them sometimes, through the vents, in the dark, and every mirror I pass, there's always a second face, not mine, watching, waiting.